Thank you for your warm presence and welcome to my presentation on the religions. What is religion? Over 30 years ago, I was in Lagos, Nigeria, attending a bank training course with other Barclays Bank staff from different parts of the country. There were about 15 of us. One afternoon, I was alone with a young man from the northern part of Nigeria. We were on our way to the market in a taxi. Both of us sat on the back seat. The taxi driver stopped at a point because of traffic. And as I looked out of my window, I saw a boy snatch a bag from a woman and started running. In reaction, the woman shouted for help and the people started pursuing the boy. Then I looked at my friend and asked if he saw what happened. He said he did. And I added, when Jesus comes back, all these things will not happen again. All of a sudden, the atmosphere in the taxi changed. My quote-unquote friend immediately looked angry and looked at me as though I violated a sacred trust and said, I do not believe in your Jesus. Where did this sudden change of attitude come from? I was a friend before, but by just uttering a phrase, I became an enemy. By simply implying that I belong to another religion, I became an enemy. After this incident, our relationship went sour, to say the least, and we never spoke to each other for the rest of our stay in Lagos. That was my first encounter with a person of another faith. At the time, I could not understand why anyone would not accept the coming of a Savior to change our lives. It seemed natural to me that we should all rally around the Savior who comes to help us. In reality, I was not sensitive to the differences in beliefs. In the same way, many of us are quick to declare our gods. We believe that our God is the God, so we are quick to declare our God. But if our God is really the God, it will be so evident that we don't even have to declare our God, as written in the book of the oppressed. If you cannot feel me within, it is not I. If someone has to convince you of my existence, it is not I. I am the only mystery that does not need an introduction. To say the least, I brought out the worst in my friend. And it took me over 30 years of continuous study, questioning, and a spiritual journey to truly understand how he felt. I didn't know that religion could be that complicated. One way of looking at what happened between my quote-unquote friend and I is that religion is our sacred ground where everything is perfect. And we want it to remain so, irrespective of whether others share our beliefs or not. Any intrusion to the contrary violates our sacred trust and we react with vengeance. Two friends could be perfectly fine until the subject of religion is introduced. They take opposite sides immediately and begin to spill their guts up to their last breath. In some cases, this encounter could be the end of a good friendship if one of them is not dead by the end of the day. We have also heard about families that have been torn apart by religious differences. It is indeed sad that any family could let religion or anything at all to come between them. It is the most foolish, inconsiderate, irresponsible, heartless, hateful, and naive thing any family could do. Look at it this way. Your family is always there for you. Your religious family is not always there for you. At the end of the day, you go home to your family. Your religious family members also go home to their families. They do not take you with them. Note that. They do not take you with them. Your family is a blood relationship. Your religious family is a water relationship. The family is so important that in Orisha, if you were to prepare a sacred table for your ancestors, and for those who are not your ancestors, but who have also influenced your life, you could only do so with separate tables. One for your ancestors, and another for those who are not of your blood relatives. It is that important in the spiritual world. It is, however, worth noting that there is more understanding now than 30 years ago when I encountered my friend, at least at the higher levels of society. We have seen or heard about celebrities from different religious backgrounds getting married irrespective of their religious differences and working things out to suit their lifestyle. The other approach of explaining the way my friend reacted, my quote-unquote friend actually, reacted, is that we are a bunch of primitive, undeveloped, angry, vindictive, proud, hateful, and inconsiderate criminals who are only interested in our own well-being with intent to enslave others, and that we use our religion as a platform to carry out our evil designs. My quote-unquote friend could have changed that conversation to something like, "Oh, I see you believe in Jesus. I believe in the Buddha." And the end, I believe in the Buddha, excuse me. So I see you believe in Jesus, I believe in the Buddha, and end it right there. We could have still remained friends and enjoyed the rest of our stay in an environment of mutual understanding. Have you ever noticed that the one who comes to your aid in your hour of need is not always a member of your religious family? My experience has included Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, Muslims, and atheists. Anyone living in this world who is in a difficult situation and waiting for a family member or a religious member to appear and rescue him or her is in for a real awakening. It just doesn't happen that way. Because the universe does not really care about your beliefs. If the universe cares about your beliefs, how do you explain the indiscriminate catastrophes that befall all of us? Let the record show that no religion has been saved, sheltered, or secluded from the devastations we face as a people on this planet. Churches, temples, mosques of all religions have been affected in different ways by natural disasters. Further, no religion has been immune to the common flu or any other airborne disease for that matter. Believers and non-believers are equally affected. No one has been protected because of her race, color, nationality, or belief. Finally, the ultimate equalizer visits all believers, all nations, all races, and all non-believers. In the real world, everyone dies. To give life another chance, neither our affiliations nor our beliefs could save us, because death is a necessary end that will come when it will come. If we cannot learn from these examples and build a universal brotherhood, indeed, there is no hope for humanity. The choice is always up to us. We can begin a new life of universal brotherhood, love, compassion, and understanding, or we can continue to demonize, castrate, enslave, or even kill our neighbors with the belief that we alone deserve to inherit the earth. Most of us saw the thick black smoke of the World Trade Center on our television screens on September 11, 2001, with unspeakable horror. That crime against humanity, carried out with a religious motive, took about 3,000 lives. Can you feel it? Can you see the horror in the people's faces? Can you see and feel their helplessness? Could you even put a human face to that crime? It is unbelievable. But believe it or not, the face was a human face that believed in a God. In his book, Holy Horrors, James A. Hort recounts the history of religious murder and madness. I will only use generalities because the specific details are very graphic. If you want to revisit our past religious history and learn about what humans have done to their fellow humans, I encourage you to read this book. Here are some of the general thoughts on our religious history from Holy Horrors. The Crusades. Through the haze of legend, the Crusades are remembered as a romantic quest by noble knights wearing crimson crosses. In reality, the Crusades were a sickening nightmare of slaughter, rape, looting, and chaos, mixed with belief in magic. The Crusade killed nearly as many Christians and Jews as they did Muslims, their intended target. Human sacrifice. It boggles the modern mind to realize that in some past cultures dominated by religion and priests, people sent their children to be strangled, beheaded, burned, drowned, skinned, crushed, and otherwise killed as appeasement offerings to gods, now known to be imaginary. Heresy. In AD 385, at Trier, Germany, bishops put to death Priscillian and his followers for doubting the Trinity and the resurrection. At Alexandria in 415, the great Roman scientist Hypatia, head of the Alexandrian library, was beaten to death by monks and other followers of St. Cyril. At Constantinople, around 550, the Byzantine Emperor Justinian killed multitudes of nonconformists to impose Christian orthodoxy. The Inquisition. Efforts to stamp out heresy led to the establishment of the Holy Inquisition, one of mankind's supreme horrors. In the early 1200s, local bishops were empowered to identify, try, and punish heretics. When the bishops proved ineffective, traveling papal inquisitors, usually Dominican priests, were sent from Rome to conduct the purge. Witch hunts. During the 1400s, the Holy Inquisition shifted its focus towards witchcraft, and the next 3 centuries witnessed a bizarre orgy of religious delusion. Agents of the church tortured untold thousands of children and some men into confessing that they flew through the sky on demonic missions, turned themselves into animals, made themselves invisible, and performed other supernatural evils. Virtually all the accused were put to death. The number of victims is estimated widely from 100,000 to 2 million. Take a deep breath. With this deadly, inhuman, vindictive, genocidal, brutal, murderous, and oppressive picture of our past religious history, some of you might be thinking, death to the religions. But before you go that far, you must realize that religion has been with us for as long as we can remember, and evil has a hand in all of us. Religion is not something you can get rid of by mere wishing or by government decrees or even by threat of death. Take Orisha, the Yoruba religion in its many forms, as an example. The religion has been demonized and castrated in the past because of the threat it posed to rival religions. In his book, God is Not One, Stephen Prothero wrote, and I quote, "In the New World, traditional African religions were denounced as hidden and often outlawed. Even drumming was prohibited in the 17th century in Haiti and severely restricted in later centuries in Brazil and Cuba." End quote. What happened? The religion persisted in the face of constant oppression and suppression. It adapted to the cutthroat challenges by first going underground and emerging with borrowed, conforming clothes on top of the real clothes. Some have argued that the Orishas manifested as the conforming clothes. But whatever you believe to be the truth, there is a movement to remove the outer conforming clothes and show the real clothes of the religion and elevate it to the status of a world religion. In reality, the Orisha tradition has started tearing down all the borrowed aspects of foreign religions and replacing them with the original teachings of the Orishas. If slaves were able to disguise their religion in the face of opposition, threats, and government regulations, imagine what could happen to religion in a free society. This presentation is not a catalogue of evil deeds and good deeds by the religions, but it will not be complete without mentioning the many contributions of religion toward the progress and development of individuals and society. Let the record show that religions have been responsible for building schools and hospitals all over the world as a religious duty. Religions have championed humanitarian activities to help the poor, the homeless, the sick, the needy. The art of yoga, meditation, and the martial arts are contributions of religion. Who could forget the lives of Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Pope John Paul II, Swami Vivekananda, and Thich Nhat Hanh? They are all shining examples of lives influenced by religion. Further, in Michael H. Hart's book, The 100, a ranking of the most influential persons in history, 4 out of the first 5 people who have influenced the world were directly connected with religion. We can as well say that whether we like it or not, religion is here to stay. There is no doubt that religion cannot be pinned down. It is more complicated than anyone could imagine. Swami Vivekananda was right on target when he said, nothing has made the brotherhood of man more tangible than religion. Nothing has made more bitter enmity between man and man than religion. Nothing has built more charitable institutions, more hospitals for man and even for animals than religion. Nothing has deluged the world more with blood than religion. And in my own limited way, I could add that religion is culture and politics, beliefs and threats, war and peace, promises and deceits, devils and gods, divination and insight, miracles and magic, hatred and love, superstition and truth, healing and causes, joy and depression, discrimination and brotherhood, faith and disbelief, enlightenment and delusion, and a struggle or a constant struggle for supremacy and domination. Now the question is, what is it about religion that we are willing to kill for our gods? What is it about religion that it turns our neighbors into enemies? What is it about religion that most of us can't live without it? Is it religious to demonize people of other faiths? Does universal love mean anything to us? Can we truly get along with our differences? Can religion really bring peace to earth? And lastly, has religion fulfilled its promises to humanity? In order to answer these and similar questions, we will look into religion itself. But before we do that, let us consider a working definition for religion. Sir E.B. Taylor explained religion as a belief in spiritual beings. For Sigmund Freud, religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in within our instinctual desires. According to Karl Marx, religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of a heartless world, and the soul of soulless conditions. It is the opium of the people. Paul Tillich tells us religion is a state of being grasped by an ultimate concern. And for Rudolf Otto, the holy is the essence of all religions. And according to Messiah Eliade, religion is human awareness of the sacred. There is no doubt that all these thoughts remind us about religion, and we can learn from each of them. But for this presentation, I will use the thoughts of Khalil Gibran. In the Prophet, Al-Mustafa, a wise and gentle teacher, was about to return home from the city where he had lived for 12 years. The people of the city gathered and asked his final advice on love, marriage, giving, joy, sorrow, and other areas of life. Near the end, a priest asked him to speak of religion. And he said, "Have I spoken this day of aught else? Is not religion all deeds and all reflection? And that which is neither deed nor reflection, but a wonder and a surprise ever springing in the soul, even while the hands hew the stone or tend the loom. Who can separate his faith from his actions, or his belief from his occupation?" I believe the main purpose of religion is to satisfy the hunger of the soul to be free. Thus, instead of using religion to further our worldly ambition, let us use religion to satisfy the hunger of our souls. Instead of using religion to divide humanity, let us use religion for universal brotherhood. Instead of using religion to enslave others, let us use religion to free ourselves. Instead of using religion as a means of going to heaven or to hell, let us use religion to live beyond all pairs of opposites. Instead of using religion to hate and to kill, let us use religion to love without conditions. Let us look for the similarities and learn from the differences. The similarities could serve as bridges that unite us, and the differences we find could lead us to a path that could culminate in enlightenment. Please join me next time for another presentation on the religions. Thank you for listening, and may you experience cosmic peace in the name of love, the earth, and the universe. Thank you. The religions is sponsored by Unism. Unism, one love, one planet, one people, one. The religions is produced by Soteme LLC. Soteme LLC, publishers of the moments of our lives. For more information on this presentation, please visit our website at unism.org. Thank you.